back. We are going to be starting week 3. So last week you all did your group presentations, and it seems like most of you got that recorded. There were a few people that did have some issues, and that happens. That's just something typical that can happen even in a face-to-face classroom when you have group work to do. So it seems like most of you, though, were able to kind of work out some of the kinks and get your presentations recorded. So for this week, you are going to be starting out with the follow-up assignment that's going to have to do with the group projects. By the way, I have been remodeling the master bathroom in my house, which is why I look as unprofessional as I do, and I apologize, but I'm going to be going back to working on that after I'm done with this video, so I did not change out of my grubby attire, so I do apologize for not looking very professional in this, but I wanted to get the video done in time. So anyway, when you start out in the week 3 folder, you are going to see that there's going to be a short explanation on what you're going to be doing for a critique. And that's what you're going to be doing for the group projects. Then you're going to see here that you are going to have the actual assignment folder. It's going to be a discussion post that you're going to do for the presentation critiques. I'm going to go ahead and click on it just to kind of briefly go over it. So you're going to go ahead and read the directions, which are basically telling you that you need to go back to the week 2 folder that's on the homepage. And then depending on what group that you were in last week, it's going to tell you here which group that you're going to be critiquing. So if you were in group 1, for example, last week, you're going to be critiquing group 3's presentation. So that means instead of going to the week 2 folder and going into the folder that you were going into, you're going to need to find group 3's discussion folder, and then you're going to need to scroll all the way down to find their link for their final presentation in their group discussion folder. And you're going to have to view it. You need to watch the whole entire thing, and then down here, you're going to see basically the instructions of what it is that I'm looking for as far as you doing a critique. So make sure that you read through this information thoroughly before you basically hit reply and start your discussion where you're doing a critique of the other group's presentation. So basically, like I said, just look for whatever group you were assigned to last week, you're going to find here, and then it will then tell you which group you're going to be critiquing. So you're not critiquing all of the group's projects, you're going to be critiquing a specific group's project. So just look here for whatever group you are in, and then which group it is that you would be critiquing based off of that. So that is what you're going to do for this particular assignment. So we're going to go back to our week 3 folder here and just wait for this to load up. Taking a second. Okay. So moving on from there, we're basically going to start going over some topics where we're kind of talking about your goals, dreams, what it is that you see yourself doing, and how you can plan to get yourself there. And so we go very heavily into goals, motivation, what it means to be resilient and have grit. And that's a lot of what the topics are for this week that we're going to be going over. Now, this does look intimidating. It's 6 assignments that you have to do for this week, and there is quite a bit of reading, but thankfully most of the folders, when you click on the reading folders, they're not incredibly long. So just make sure you basically start at the top, do the reading, and then do the activities after that. They're all pretty straightforward. They're either going to be a discussion post, or they're going to be one where you can use the text entry box to type your answer in, or you can use a Microsoft Word document and upload that. And it'll tell you specifically what it is that you can do for each one of the assignments. So your first main topic that we're going over is goals. And then you're going to have 2 assignments that are concerning goals that you're going to complete. Then we talk about motivation, because there are 2 different types of motivation, because let's face it, motivation is good, but motivation can come from different things. So oftentimes we get motivated by external things such as making money, or somebody else pushing us to do something, and that's what's motivating us to do it. And then you have another kind of motivation that is more internal. It's something that you drive yourself because you're passionate about it. And so basically how you explain those 2 is if it's something that's external, that it's not necessarily your own deepest desires or passions that are driving you or motivating you. If it's something external, that's called extrinsic motivation. And then if it's something internal, like let's just say you've always loved working with animals or something like that, and so you're now going to school to become a vet. Well, that's an internal motivation because that's something that you've always been passionate about. That's something that you've always cared about. And that's what's motivating you to try to go towards that career goal because it's something inside you that's always been interesting to you and that you've been passionate about. And that's called intrinsic motivation. So when you do the reading here, it's going to really go into more detail about it and it's going to give you more information. So basically use that information because when you complete this activity, it's going to ask you to list 10 things that are motivating you, and it's going to give you some specifics that you're looking for. And then basically when you list those things that are motivating you, you then have to determine whether those are things that are external or extrinsic, or if it's something that is an internal motivator, something that that you're driving yourself with, that you're passionate about, something like that. And you have to basically list the motivator and then whether it's an extrinsic or an intrinsic motivator. So you're going to go through that. You'll have a lot more details explaining this assignment when you click on it here. And then you're going to continue on with more of the videos that are going over the Road Trip Nation, where you're following these 3 students and that road trip that they're taking, where they're kind of meeting people, finding out information about careers that they've gone into, what it took for them to get there, and things like that. So you're going to watch that video and kind of continue on there. And then we're going to go over a section that's talking about resilience and grit. And you'll have a specific reading for resilience, which will help you answer this activity here, which is going to be a text entry or a Microsoft Word document. So just read the directions there. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to go into too much details. And then you have another reading here that's specifically going into the topic of having grit. And I'm going to let you do the reading so that way you get more information there, but you'll also have an activity here. Pay attention to the details of the instructions in this activity because it is asking you in one part of this activity to refer back to something you read in the goals section. So just be aware of that because it is very specific. It's talking about SMART goals when you're doing an answer for one of the questions here, and you have to actually write specific SMART goals. A lot of people mess up this assignment because they don't go back and review what it says in that goals section and how to actually write out a SMART goal. So make sure that you refer back to that so you know what you're doing when you're going to basically write some goals here, but you have to write them as SMART goals. So I'm just kind of giving you the heads up there to go back to that goals section where the reading is for goals and go over where they actually specifically talk about SMART goals and how to write them. And then the topic of growth mindset is something that you're going to learn about here in this section that we're doing this week, and it's going to carry on because in a couple of weeks you're going to be doing an assessment, and it's one that we get from the Career Center on campus, and that assessment has a lot to do with growth mindset. And it'll explain it a lot better here. Pay attention to the topic and what it is that the reading is telling you because it's going to make more sense, especially when we do that assessment in a couple of weeks. And then it has more additional information and reading about developing a growth mindset. And it does have a section on concluding thoughts. And then you do have down here the health and wellness bonus points that you can click on if within this week you complete any kind of 30-minute workout, whatever the workout is, and you record it. Just please make sure when you upload it to the assignment folder here to get the bonus points, I need to be able to see a recorded 30-minute recording. I don't want to see something that's a culmination of all the minutes that you've done throughout the day that might have added up to 30 minutes. It needs to be an actual recorded 30-minute workout. So whether you're doing that on your Apple Watch, whether you're doing it on like a Fitbit, I know some people use the Under Armour app, some people use the Garmin app to record their workouts, but just make sure that when you're submitting the screenshot, I need to be able to see the exercise minutes, not the steps. I don't need steps. I need to see the exercise minutes where I can clearly see that a 30-minute workout occurred and it was recorded. And then I need to be able to see the date. So that way I can verify that it was done within this week. So just make sure that's what you're uploading whenever you upload there. If you are using the Apple Watch and you're going through the health app, I have discovered that some people, you have to go to the health app on your iPhone if that's what you have. And on that summary screen that you have right when you open up the health app, you have to add to your favorites. You have to add exercise minutes if it's not already on there, because then that way you can actually click on exercise minutes. And if you recorded a workout on your phone, if you have an iPhone, and it records it, it's going to put it in the exercise minutes that's actually on your health app. but you have to add that to your favorites. And then once you click on it, you're going to see where it has kind of what looks like a bar graph, and it should show the time that you did a recorded workout. And if you click on that bar graph, it's actually going to pop up a little bubble that says how many minutes the workout was, and then it will say the date as well. And that's what you could take a screenshot of if you're using the health app on your iPhone. I just had to discover that myself because a lot of students last semester were having issues trying to figure out how to get that information out of the health app because they weren't using other apps. They were just using their iPhone. So that's just for you all. If you're using an iPhone and you are going through the health app, just make sure that you add exercise minutes to your favorites on the summary page. And then you should be able to click on the bar graph when you click on exercise minutes after you do your workout. And you should be able to click on the bar for that time that you did your workout. And it should pop up a little balloon box basically that shows the date and how many minutes the exercise was. So that's just a little FYI there. But other than that, this week is pretty straightforward. Just make sure, like I said, start at the top, do the reading first, then do the exercise that comes right after it. Use information from the reading to help your answers out, because that's what I'm looking for whenever I do my grading. I'm looking to see not only are you relating things to yourself and your own experiences, but I'm also looking to see that you're actually taking information from the reading and incorporating that into your answers. And also, I mean, I know I'm not an English teacher, but please try hard to keep your typing and what you are putting in your assignments on an academic level, which means try your hardest to make sure you're capitalizing the beginning of your sentences, that you're writing complete sentences, that you're checking over to make sure that your spelling is correct. A lot of times when you're typing in Canvas, it'll actually highlight if a word is misspelled. So please try to check through it and submit your best academic work that you can, because I have seen a lot of alarming grammatical and punctuation errors in answers. And so I want to try to encourage you all to be a little bit more proactive about making sure that what you're submitting is more on an academic level. So just try to make sure that you're doing some simple, basic grammar, punctuation, proofread your answer before you submit it so it looks the best that it can, because when it comes time to when you write your final paper at the end of the semester, I am going to be taking points off for every single basic grammar punctuation error that I find, kind of like an English teacher would, because by that time I usually try to remind students throughout the semester to try practicing writing as best they can on an academic level. We're college students, so we need to try to improve our writing skills, and this is a good place to practice it because most of what I'm asking you to write are very short paragraphs where you can actually kind of really work on some of those skills. If that's something that you've always struggled with, you just need to try hard to proofread your work and make sure that you're actually submitting your best work. So that way it's not something that by the time we get to our final paper, you're going to miss a lot of points for, just basic grammar and punctuation errors that could be improved upon if you're really working on it this semester. So other than that, that's pretty much it for the week. If you have any questions about anything, just, make sure with the critique here that you follow along with which group I assigned you to critique. And then basically, just do the readings in order, finish the assignments. And then just any questions, let me know. And I will see you all back here for week 4 next week.